So I'm going to be able to pull it out. It's going to make it easier for you. Then what's the highest a that I can pull out? A to the first power. What's the highest b that we can pull out?
B.
Just a b. So you pull it out. 7. We said the highest that we can pull out on the a's is a. The highest b is b. Then you write what's left. I had a binomial. You'll have a binomial here. So 7 times 1 will give me 7, so I don't need to put the 1 unless I'm left with nothing here. And then a times what will give me a to the third? A squared. So I'm going to put an a squared. And b times 1 again will give me the b, so I don't need to write anything else. Minus, in fact, we're going to do this step on each of them, and then I'll show you what you need to do, so we'll leave some space. And then, so here, 7 times 1 again would give us back that 7. We've already pulled out that single a, and so the only thing that's left, b, okay, b times what will give you b to the third? B to the second. Okay. And that's still factorable, but we're going to leave it just for a second. Skip maybe a couple of lines and put number 10. So we'll factor out what's in common first. So on the number 10, look at your numbers. Who knows the highest number we can pull out?
32.
But is there a 32 here, Joel? Right here. Can I pull a 32 out of a 2?
Oh, no.
So what's the highest number that I can pull out?
2.
Is a 2. Okay. Then, is there an a in common in everything?
Yeah.
Is there an a in that last term?
Oh, no.
No. So I can't pull out an a at all. Is there a b in every one?
Yes.
In fact, it's b to the what that's in every single one?
Again.
B to the second. So I can pull out all those b's to the b to the seconds. And then we have a trinomial. So you're going to have a trinomial after we pull those out. So 2 times what will give us 32? Yes, ma'am. What's that? Guys, all this time, nobody said anything? How could you be? Thank you, ma'am. You get candy for that. Like all this time I've been doing this, and you have to have seen, like, I can't see what she's doing. You need to be saying something. So I'm going to go back again. On this one, we were able to pull out a 7ab. That's what you need to write. And what was left was, after we pull out a 7 and an a and a b, there's a squared left and no b. After we pull out the 7ab, the 7 is gone, the a is gone, and we just have b squared right here. And I said, leave this. So this should be written down, because we're going to need that. Again, there's no way you can write on here. You have, in fact, you can keep your final answers on the paper, and we'll attach it. You have to have the paper attached. So now we're at this one. We said there's a 2 here, and there's a 2 in this, and there's a 2 in that. So we can pull out a 2. A, there's not an a in each of them, so I can't pull out an a. But there is a b squared, b squared, b squared. In fact, I'm gonna do this a little bit different. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna pull out that b squared, b squared, b squared. And I was able to pull out a 2. So I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna take that out. This is 2 times 8. This is 2 times 16. So I'm pulling out a 2. I'm pulling out a 2. So then I can see it a little bit better. So what's left is 16a squared. That's all that is left. Such that if I multiply that, 2 times 16 is the 32. A squared times b squared is a squared b squared. Plus, who knows what's left on the next one? If I pull out 2 of the 16, 2 times what gives us 16? Is 8. So 8 is left. And I can't pull out the a, because I didn't pull out an a. And we already pulled out the a squared, so it's gone. Plus, okay, now, oh, this is interesting. Who knows 2b squared times what will give me that 2b squared?
1.
Is a 1. You have to have 1, 2, 3 terms. So this is the first step on all of these today. Then, this is kind of a culmination of all of them. It's going to take us a couple days to get through this. On number 11, and we're not done yet, but I want to do this first step. Who knows the biggest number on this number 11 that we can pull out? Is you can pull out a 4. Okay, I can pull out a 4. And Trinity, make sure you're getting it down. Who knows the biggest a that I can pull out?
A.
There's an a squared, a to the third. You can just pull out a single a. So I can pull out a single a. Then, is there a b in every one?
Yes.
And the most I can pull out is a single b. Okay. So again, I'm going to end up with a trinomial. So if I pull out a 4 and 1a and that b, who knows what's left? I'm pulling out a 4 and a b and one of my a's. Who knows what's left? A to the what power?
Second.
A to the second. Such that if I multiply this times that, I would get 4a to the third b. Minus 4 times what will give me 40?
4 times 2.
4 times 10. So sometimes I can even put 4 times 10 because I'm pulling out a 4 and I'm going to have that 10 left. So 10, I'm pulling out 1a and 1b. So who knows what I'm going to have left? An a and a b. There you go, 10ab. Plus 4 times what makes 100?
25.
How about 25? So I'm pulling out a 4, and I'm going to have that 25 left. And I'm pulling out 1a. Am I going to have any a left at all?
No.
No. And I'm pulling out 1b. So what am I going to have left here?
B squared.
B squared. We're not quite done yet, but that's pulling out. That's the first thing you're going to do on this one is pull out your common factor. Then on the number 12, on the number 12, can I pull out a number?
No.
1.
Yeah, and we usually don't pull out 1, so I can't touch the numbers. Who knows the highest a that I can pull out?
A squared.
A squared. So we're going to pull out, because that's in common in both, because we're slimming down the work that we've got to do. So a squared I can pull out. What's the highest b that we can pull out?
B.
A single b. Very good. Okay. And then I'm going to have a binomial left. So I didn't pull out the 4 at all, so the 4 stays there. We pulled out 2 a's, so how many a's would be left?
A squared.
A squared. And we're pulling out 1b, so how many b's would be left?
B squared.
B squared. Such that if you multiplied 4a squared times a squared, I'd get 4a squared to the fourth. B times, I'm missing something here. B squared would give me the b to the third. Minus, this is interesting again. I pulled out a squared b. Who knows what this is going to be?
1.
A 1. A squared b times 1 will give me that back. So those answers aren't there, which means we have something left to do, which means we've got to go back and factor this. This is a binomial, the difference of 2 perfect squares. So I know, first of all, I'm going to leave this. This is going to factor into 2 more binomials. So this is the object now. We're going to see if we can factor the rest of it. How am I going to get an a squared? What times what? A times a. How am I going to get a b squared?
A B, B.
A b times a B. How am I going to get a negative? A negative and a positive, or a positive and a negative, either way, such that I had no middle. Had I done the middle, had I checked the inside, which is positive AB, and the outside, which is a negative AB, it would have canceled out. And that's why I have no middle. This should be my final answer. So we're going to find the answer. Again, don't waste your time. Your answers are going to be on your separate line paper. And look for 7AB. This is not.
WA.
Yeah, because this one is totally different. It is this one, the WA. So cross it out and just put that came from the number 9. And then what do you have to do? Where the 9 is, I guess you put WA. Yeah. WA. Then, for the number 10, this looks like a perfect, it has a perfect root. This has a perfect root. So I have a feeling it's a trinomial, a perfect trinomial. And if it's a perfect trinomial, who thinks they know what that first number is going to be? What times what will give me 16a squared? 4. A perfect, you use the root. You don't go 2 times 8, it has to be the same number. 4a times 4a is my 4a squared. And here's that perfect number at the end. Who knows how I'm going to get a 1?
1.
A 1 times a 1. So I know the signs have to be the same. This last sign tells me they're the same. Who knows what sign they're going to be? Positive, positive. Such that, I just haven't gotten an 8. Such that if I check the inside, which is 1 times 4a is 4a, and the outside, 1a again times 4a is 4a, that would sum up to my 8a, my 8a. So that is the answer. So let's see if we find that answer.
No. Right here.
Oh, actually, I think okay, but hold on a second. Aren't these exactly the same, these two binomials? Yeah, so I can stack them up. I can rewrite that as 2b squared. And then they put them together. They said, okay, it's the same thing. So 4b plus 1 squared. So I've got 2 of them.
4A. Yeah, it's 4A, not 4B.
4a.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a. I'm sorry, so sorry. Thank you.
Katie?
Maybe. I think so. Yeah, he said it first. All right, so I got 2 candies over here. All right,
You gave
then.
me 1.
Okay, you got a big one. All right, so let's go on. So on this one, which is the answer? It is this one right here. So this one came from the number 10. Just put that number, and then find the number 10 and put the I in. Then, yeah, let's go ahead and finish these 2, and you can go ahead. All right, so is this a perfect square? Do these have perfect roots?
Yes.
Yes. Does the 1 have a perfect root? Yes. It has, well, 1 times 1. So it looks like it's going to be a perfect root problem. So I'm going to start it like this. Who knows how I'm going to get 4 squared, a squared, b squared?
2AB.
2ab, very good, times a 2ab. Okay. Who knows how I'm going to get that last number of a 1?
Just positive 1 and negative 1.
Yeah, and that very good that you add that, because we have to have a negative. It can't be a negative times negative and give us positive. It can't be a positive positive, that would give us a positive. It has to be a positive negative 1, 1. So these are not going to get stacked up. And this is, again, where the middle drops out because you have a positive 2ab and a negative 2ab. So we're done with that one. You can't stack it up because they're not the same binomial.
Wait, did you skip 11?
I did by accident. I'm so sorry. So this is number 12. So number 12, you will get candy then. Thank you. So number 12, where is that at? It's the OG. All right. So this is the number 12. And put an O and a D. And then we'll go back to this number 11. So we've already pulled out the 4AB. And then again, it looks like a perfect root, such that if I pulled out the 5 and I doubled it, it would be the 10. Because again, it's this doubled and it gives me my middle one if they're perfect roots. So who thinks they know? How am I going to get that A squared? A times A. Yeah, 1A times 1A. Who knows how I'm going to get 25B squared right here?
5.
5 what? 5B times 5B. This last sign tells me the signs have to be the same. Who knows what sign it's going to be?
Negative.
Negative. It's going to be negative, negative, such that negative times negative gives me the positive, and such that if I check my inside, which is negative, they're the same numbers. Negative 5AB, negative 5AB. It comes to my negative 10AB. And by the way, can I stack these up?
Yes.
Yes, because they're exactly the same. So we'll probably see 4AB and A minus 5B squared. Okay, so you'll probably see that answer.
Maybe.
And you're right, there it is. So that was the number 11. Okay, and 11 is... Okay.
I'm ready to finish it now.
Yes, Armando first. Okay.
We have to go
And-
downstairs.
What's that?
Yes, she just said she walked me.
Go ahead and look. I think they've cleaned it up. So let us know. Come right back. Okay. So we've got 20 minutes. I'm going to look at this next one to see what we got to do. Because this is going to be a couple days, but I didn't want to make it 3 days. Okay. So go ahead and you guys can go ahead and head down. All right. All right. The only other thing that I'm going to assign, so you're going to do these 8 here, and we're going to start, again, this is a review of all of your factoring. Now, this is actually easier because you don't have anything to pull out. There's nothing in common in all of these. Who thinks they know how to factor this one? Do they look like they have perfect roots? Yes. And there's no middle, which means I probably had a plus negative on each of them, so the middle drops out. Who thinks they want to guess? How am I going to get that first one? 2n times 2n. How am I going to get this 49? Yeah, this is an easier side. 7, 7. How am I going to get a negative? A what times a what? A positive times a what? A positive times a negative. And so this one's easy. You don't even have to use your line paper. So how you're going to work this puzzle, again, we're not going to get all the way through this. We'll do as many as we can, is you're going to look for one of your factors here. And if that one wasn't here, I'd look for this one. But it's right here. And then you look for the other factor in the other column. And it is right here. So the number 9 goes with the G. And I'm going to put 9G. Okay. Yeah, this is going to take us a couple days. Okay, 9G. And then the rest of them are regular factoring. Again, I think they're going to be pretty easy. The only one that you have to do trial and error on is this number 6. We're going to try for you. You're going to do all of the front, and we're going to try to get you to do, hopefully, you can do all of these here and try to start heading into here. But just as a reminder, let's look at this number 3. How are you going to get n? N times n. Here, that plus means my signs are the same, and my factors will sum to 9. Who knows two numbers that will multiply to 20 that will sum to 9? 5 and 4. So 5 times 4, such that the signs are the same, and they're both going to be what sign? What's the sign right here? It needs to sum to a -9, such that if I did -5 and -4, it would come to that -9. That is your factorization. So these are much, much easier. So that's the last one that I'm going to do. This one here, this number 6, is like you were doing yesterday, where you have to do the 3 times the 5, and it has to sum to 8. But that you probably want to do on your paper. Anyway, so find your n minus 5. I don't see it here. Let me see if I see it here. I see it right here. So here's n minus 5, and over here then should be n minus 4. So the 14 goes with the letter P. This 9 went with the letter G. And I think we'll stop right there. 14 is the letter P. All right, so I'm going to have you go back to this side, and again, pull out everything that's in common first, and you may begin. So 8 of them here, 6 on the other side that are easy.